Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks, the narrators that perform them, and the authors that write the stories. Including a special series with Narrator Shane East, the Audiobook Lovin Podcast is brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 16 of the Audiobook Lovin Podcast. Today Shane and I are catching up and playing This or That, so that's going to be fun. Last we spoke was back in January, so we have a little bit to talk about. And I know the world's crazy right now, but we're going to keep it light and fun. So hi, Shane.
Hello. Nice to be here again.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's fine, actually. Life's not that, I know it's very strange in lots of ways for lots of people, but it's not that much different for us who work in isolation. I know some other narrators have said that on Twitter. So, and we've all been busy. So yeah, other than not, heading out to go out and do things out and about in the evenings, which, gets me out of this, whatever, my little cabin in the woods, if you want to call it, in LA. That's the only thing. And not being able to go to the gym. I have to do workouts on the porch, which I've not gotten into very well, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I just sit, I sit in a box all day. So, I was always like, my evenings were, I always try and do something. But I will say on the positive side of that, bike rides have been great around Los Angeles. They've been awesome.
On the road.
Yeah, because no one's out. So, and you don't come into contact with anyone really anyway. So you just I've been doing those 15-mile bike rides. So that's different to my regime or my regimen. But other than that, it's pretty good. I've settled into it. Everyone I know is doing fine. Everyone's all right. So we're kind of just getting on with it really. And now May 15th is our get out of jail card date. I don't know if that's going to stay or if it'll be later than that, but who knows? I have lots of stuff on the cards until through to June. So,
yeah. We're busy. We have stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm being kept very busy. So, and more stuff's come up, I think, because of this, because I know some narrators have now got their home booths going, some who didn't, some popular people who kind of always recorded outside. So, a lot of them. Everyone's kind of getting stuck in and adjusting to it, which in the long run will be good for everyone, I think, involved. In our business anyway, I'm not talking about anyone else. Just saying this whole having to be online and all of that stuff and people having more home studios is only a good thing, I think. So yeah,
because you'll be able to get more projects in, and you'll be able to do some of those things that you don't have to hold off to schedule something outside.
Yeah, and then also there's this also I think push some. I was reading something the other day. Some pushed publishers. I'm now working for certain publishers who were very. They wanted you to go to their
studios.
Their studios, so they've obviously can't do that. So they're now kind of working with you from home and having a director patch in and stuff. And that's things. I don't think they were as open to before, and now obviously something like this necessitates. So, which again is a good thing, because I used to wonder about that. I was like, it's not really great for the schedule to have to go into the studio, although it is nice to go and see people, but at the same time, it's nice to have the option. So it's opened up that avenue, I think, with people who didn't really think that was something they wanted to do, publishers who maybe were concerned about the quality, or you know what I mean? Like they didn't think that it was going to be good enough. And I think they realized that it's just as great from people's professional home studios. And so that's an option. So again, that's always good. It's nice to go there if you can, but if you can't, then I think that opens up another avenue for us where we can actually work with them directly still. I think that's human beings. And, there's a lot of negatives about this whole thing, but, which we all know all of the negatives about what's going on. Right. But there are some positives, and that's one of them. Because I think, I've read books on that, human nature, it's we'll put up with things as they are because we prefer that comfort zone because we know it until, and then there are more entrepreneurial types who move ahead faster and do other things. But, as a bulk, human beings kind of like to be in a bit more of a comfort zone. And I think this, until something happens that means like you have to do something about it, which then they do, and then we all, move forward. So I think, in the positive aspect, that's helped. And I hope it does stick a bit more when it's done, because it's so much nicer with cleaner air in Los Angeles, and people not having to commute. I mean, they must love that bit of it. Some people who are just working from home now don't have to spend an hour and a half in the car every day. So and it's better for the planet. So that's that's the other thing.
Yeah, it's been fun seeing all those videos where we actually get to see the mountains that usually we don't before, and there's dolphins in the canals in Venice. It's just it's been nice to see all that stuff. So see, you don't have to do all this stuff, do we now?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Environmentally, there is that way to move forward that people have been trying to get us to do. And so as a collective, maybe now we can, go that way more, because it's much better for us as well as animals and the planet and everything. And that ends my Greenpeace statement for the day.
Well, I know that we're probably with staying home with everything going on. I'm sure there's a lot more cooking happening at home.
Oh, what a segue. Going
out and stuff like that. Nice, huh? I did good there, didn't I?
What a segue. I knew it was coming. But yeah, slick. I like it. Very morning television.
See? I've had lots. I'm getting more practice in, so this is fun. Well, it's funny because on Twitter, I've seen some of the comments, and sometimes you're tagged, sometimes you're not. And in your Twitter feed, and also in your bio for your website and stuff, that is when you've been my guest on your bio, it says that you like to cook. And so normally when we're in a conversation, like if we're in person and we're meeting someone for the first time and that comes up, the next question is, but what do you like to cook? What do you like to cook? And we haven't gotten there with you yet. Exactly. We're not in a typical environment in general with you guys. So it's come up where I wonder what he actually does like to cook.
I do love to cook. I mean, that's the funny thing. I don't have specific recipes. I don't bake. I just know how to sling things together in the kitchen. So I will say, because I don't want to bore him on with what I made for breakfast. But I do like, there are three things that you should have in the kitchen. That's what I will say, is really excellent olive oil. And I managed to get mine from the farmer's market in LA, which I know isn't available to everybody. And it comes straight from the farm. And so I buy in bulk at the beginning of the year when they've just done their harvest. And then I use that in everything, really. Not to cook with, but more for dressings and stuff. And you have to use something like that. And if olive oil, if it hits the back of your throat with that peppery thing, have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Then that means it's really good. It's a high, I think it's polyphenols or something. There's one of those antioxidants that is, it's supposed to be really good for you. So it's got a lot of that in. So anyway, I use one of those that tastes really peppery. It's really strong. And then Malden sea salt, you can get it smoked or unsmoked. Those are two sea salts that I use with fresh lemon. And that's literally I pretty much use that to dress everything. And then you should always have dried basil, sage, smoked paprika is good too. And black pepper, obviously. And literally that is what I'll cook whatever with that. I always cook some greens. I use a mandolin a lot. You know what I mean? My friend didn't know what I said the other day. I said mandolin. He's like, what? What the fuck's that? So I cut a lot of vegetables with that, shallots and stuff. And even tomatoes, good vine tomatoes, you kind of slice them. It just releases the flavor really well. And then I just put all different things together. I use a spiralizer for summer squash, for yellow squash. And I'll put that in with, some shallots or shallots, whichever way you say it. I don't know. What's the American way to say it? Shallots?
Shallots.
Yeah, no, we say shallots.
Well, I was listening to you going your basil and your all the ingredients, and I'm like,
cooking's one place where the names are all gone a bit tits up with us, you and us. It's courgette, zucchini, eggplant, all of these things, basil. Anyway, what was I saying? So I use a spiralizer, and I do that a lot. I like yellow squash I'll do, or you can do courgette, aka zucchini, and throw that in with some greens and some shallots. I can't say the words now. I'm mixing the two.
You're fine. I like how you say it, so don't worry.
Shallots, sometimes a bit garlic, and then I usually often throw that together in some kind. I like saute a lot of stuff. And then my only other tip, because I'm going to move on from cooking, because I'm not. Who's that one? Rachel Ray, is that the cooking host?
Yeah,
I'm not Rachel Ray. I cannot explain cooking very well. And I just taste things a lot. Like I throw a bit in, and then I'll taste it, and then I'll go back. But chicken, if you're doing chicken, that sounds so weird. How the fuck did I end up speaking about this? If you're doing chicken, I always do chicken breast, and then you have to flatten it with a mallet, like one of those hammer things. And then I use avocado oil, because if you heat stuff on high or medium to high or bake it in the oven, I always use avocado, I don't use olive oil. Anyway, so I do that. And then you should put brown rice flour. If you're gluten-free, you can use just regular flour otherwise. And you roll the chicken in that, and then pan fry it with all your herbs and stuff. And then that's the best way to do like a chicken breast or diced chicken, whatever. You got to do a bit of the oil first, and then do the brown rice flour, get it all coated, and then saute it. I swear to God, that's the best way to do chicken. So that's my one Rachel Ray hint for the day. That's it. That's all I've got. I'm speaking so fast about cooking because I'm terrible at explaining it.
No, you're fine.
I feel like I'm trying to get all the information in.
Yeah. So you pan fry your chicken.
I pan fry a lot of stuff. I saute a lot of stuff. And then I just mix it all up. Yeah, the chicken, I used to do it in the oven. I used to do the whole thing where you're supposed to soak it in, you sort of brine it. So you soak it in some salt water for 15 minutes or so, and then dry it off, and then, put a little bit of oil on it, and then put it in the oven. And that was hit and miss. Like sometimes it'd be great, and then other times, because that's the worst thing, it's like dry chicken. And then you're always worried about, my mum raised me we were always worried about not cooking chicken well enough because of, salmonella and all of that stuff. That was my generation. So we grew up with tough chicken, which is not the nicest. No offense, Mum, but it was often quite tough. So that's the other thing. But yeah, so then I started pan frying it. I think a Spanish friend did that once for me, and I was like, that's really good. And then that's simple. That's literally I do that a lot and make something to go with it, whether it's those veggies or roast carrots in the oven with some salt, pepper, and chipotle. You can get chipotle seasoning, put that on some carrots, roast them. And that's it. That's all the cooking I've got for today.
So that's very healthy in a lot of with the ingredients and
I do. I guess that's why I say I love to cook, because I don't really make anything out of a packet, and a lot of that just came from not feeling great years back. Just had and found out I was allergic to certain things, but so a lot of that came from that, because I can't control what's in packeted stuff or packaged stuff. So when I was still trying to figure out what on earth was going on, I just started cooking a lot for myself and throwing things together and all of that, because then I knew, and that's where the whole good olive oil, lemon juice, and really good sea salt came together. And I was like, oh, this makes everything taste fucking great. So that's it. So yeah, I guess it is pretty healthy, but I have a sweet tooth, so I do like that.
Yeah, but you don't bake.
No, I can't bake. I've tried it.
Yeah.
I tried it once. I don't really like it, and
it's more exact.
Yeah, you have to measure I don't measure it. That's why when you asked me about recipe, I'm like, a bit of this, a bit of that, throw it in, taste it, saute that, throw those in. So yeah, baking is just, I've tried it. I tried to make a pumpkin thing once for a Halloween, not Halloween, sorry, Thanksgiving. Friends, thanks, like a Friendsgiving thing.
Yeah.
And it tasted quite nice, but it looked like a lump of poo on the plate. I was like, that's not attractive, is it? It didn't rise. It didn't do all the things that they're supposed to do. although the ingredients were, when I tasted it, I was like, it actually tastes quite nice, but I don't think I took it with me in the end. I was like, it's just not presentable. You can put pig on a lipstick, but that was no saving that one. So I think after that, I must take after my mum, because she tried baking for years, and then in the end she just went, fuck it. She said, I can't. She said, it never looks like it does in the book. She said, the things don't rise, they don't brown, they don't look this and that. And so I remember her having a freak out, and then she was just like, we'll just buy cakes from Marks and Spencer's from now on. And that's what we did. Even though we told her, we were like, it tastes really nice, we like the taste of it. But I think she was, so I get it from her, must be. We don't have the baking gene, but we can cook, we can throw stuff together in a pan and make you dinner.
Yeah. There's always like almost like two types of people, either the ones that just do more the savory cooking, and then those that like to do the baking, because it's very scientific when it comes down to breaking down the recipes or doubling things. And I have allergies in math, and so I don't do a whole lot of that. I tend to stick straight to what the recipe is, or just duplicate it by what it already says versus doing the math. I do more savory,
right?
But the baking for me is relaxing. So when I'm stressed out, sometimes I'll do a cheesecake, or I'll do I think I was going to do, what the hell was I going to do? Cupcakes, or those little pop cakes. Those little round, very sugary ones. I was thinking about doing that. And then I remember there's dishes to have to be done afterwards. And I'm like, I'm good. But so you say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I just agree. I find cooking therapeutic. I do. Or just calm it. Like I like doing it. I like making dinner and stuff, and it is calming. And so just because you concentrate on that one thing, and maybe I have some music in the background, or I'm listening to, it kind of it's a nice zone to be in. I quite enjoy that part of it. But baking doesn't hold that for me. So you can do the cakes.
Yeah, I'll bring dessert next time I go over then, if anything. You can do the cooking, I'll bring the dessert.
There you go. Win-win.
Yep. So now I have this vision of you cooking with the music in the background, and probably having a drink of some sort as you're sauteing stuff.
What's that supposed? How dare you? What kind of insinuation is that?
Yeah. Well, now I'm kind of curious as to what drink that would be. I know that you drink different types of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Well, this whole quarantine thing is like brought on cocktail hour. I never used to. I used to drink. I do like having a drink, but more socially. So then now you can't go anywhere and be social and have a drink. So it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, I have definitely upped that, especially the first few weeks. I was like, okay, well, it's 7 p.m. Might as well have a cocktail, make dinner as entertainment. But yeah, I like my wine, but I like vodka really. Just kind of vodka with whatever I can sort of find. I like tonic. Vodka tonic's good. And then it changes. It goes like I'll go into for bourbon for a bit, but at the minute I'm on vodka, so that's it. But not a lot. Not a lot. By the way, I'm not like drunk rolling around this house.
No. That's not the image I was envisioning. I was just literally like seeing like with the cup, the spatula on one end, and then just kind of like listening to the music bobbing back and forth as you're stir frying something.
However you want to envision.
Yeah. Well, again, it's for those that like to cook and stuff, and plus, of course, movies. That's exactly what every movie looks like when the guy's cooking.
Yeah.
So. And then when he thinks no one's watching, he starts moving the hips a little bit more. But again, those are all movies. You wouldn't do that at all.
I mean, I'm not going to go into what I do in my kitchen. There are limits to what I will divulge. Of course, but,
exactly.
So yeah. But no, I'm fine. I'm having a good time having a cocktail and cooking at the minute and catching up on a lot of telly, I guess, because don't do it as much normally. So yeah, that's my cooking and my cocktail section for today's program.
You've been really busy with working and stuff. Can you share some of the stuff that you've been working on?
I can. I have a list here actually, because I'm always so ill prepared for your question on that. And so I actually spent the time and wrote it down. And I was looking, it's interesting because how some stuff comes out and doesn't come out. But Promised Nights is out, which I did for Louise Bay, which I did a while back, actually. So that's been in the ether for ages. And so that's just come out. And then there's another, the Caitlin and the Highlander series that I do. Book 6 is out. And I've also already recorded 7 and 8, which is it's the Diana Knightley series where I'm very, very Scottish. It's sort of like Outlander-esque, traveling through time and stuff. And then on the Scottish theme, Anna Duran's one, Lethal in a Kilt. Can't speak today. I think my tongue fell asleep. When I'm off the mic, when I'm not professionally working, I'm terrible. So Lethal in a Kilt, which I think a lot of people know about because me and Emma Wilder did that one, and that's out now. And I'm also actually recording tomorrow a little novella called One Hot Chance with Vanessa Edwin for Anna Durand, which is another sort of mini-series she's doing. I'm not really sure how she's marketing that, but she's doing that. And then next month we're doing another one in that sort of little series. So that's on its way. I did another Lily Archer. There's an Omega Academy. We did the first book. That's been out for a while with Mackenzie Cartwright, Jason Clark, and Damon Lee. And now the second one, we just recorded, I think at the end of last month, we all recorded our bits for that. So I think that's called The Circle, but it's like Omega Academy stuff from Lily Archer. So the next ones should be on its way in the next month or two. I think everyone knows Nana Malone's one's out, Big Ben. Or is it out yet, or is it on pre-order still?
It's pre-order until the 21st.
Okay, so I think people will like that. And that was me and a narrator called Mari, who I hadn't worked with before, but she sounds great. So that'll be interesting. I don't know if you've come across her.
No, first to me. I'm like, ooh, and a single name too, one namer.
I know. It's like Cher or something.
Yeah.
Madonna, starring Mari. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, she sounds great. And I listened to some of her other stuff as well. So that's on its way. And then in that zone, I did last year, tons of us did a thing for Blunder Woman Productions, which is called Filthy. Did you listen to that? There's a bunch of little mini stories. I think all your favorites are on there.
Yeah. Why are you assuming they're my favorites?
Or like all the favorite, like or everyone that anyone ever, any blokes that anyone ever speaks about are on that anthology.
No. I was going to be like, hey, what are you insinuating? No. You're right, though. That's fine.
Well, there was one called Filthy last year.
Yes.
And then there's another one coming out called Quickies. And then that I did a story there. I did 2 stories, one for Corinne Michaels, which was just me. And then I did one for Nana Malone, which was sort of a side story from the Big Ben, one of the character connected with that she had a short story for. And that was me and Emma Wilder again. We did that for that anthology. So that will be on its way. And I can't tell you when these things are coming because Audible and release dates are all over the place at the minute, I believe.
Yep.
So it's hard to, people are submitting and it's taking a long time. So if I'm vague, it's because none of us really are quite sure because of that process. So there's that. I just did another Kim Lorraine duet called Midnight Prince. I think some of you saw, some people saw a little preview of just me recording in the booth of that with Stella Hunter, who's a newer narrator. So that should be interesting. That was good. It's very Kim Lorraine, paranormal. Your sort of vampire. I don't want to say sexy vampire, but you know what I'm saying. He's supposed to be that type, bad and brooding.
Yeah.
She likes to write those guys.
Bad, brooding, and sexy. I'll say it. Bad, brooding, and sexy.
Yeah, a vampire. And then, which I love playing vampires, so that's great. I get into that whole thing. And then I also did another duet. It's been duet season, it seems. One called, do you know KK Allen? You know that author?
I've seen the name. Yeah, I've seen the name here and there a little bit.
Yeah,
I haven't read anything.
I'm Australian in it. I think I wrote that on Twitter that I was being Aussie for a few days. And it's called Trouble with Gravity, or The Trouble with Gravity. And it's a duet one with Kira Stevens. So I'm not sure when that's coming out, but we have recorded that. So, and it's kind of one of those, I think it's one of those frenemy kind of, I don't know the trope names very well. You have to forgive me. Lauren Blakely's always great. She throws all those things out. But one of those kind of ones where they hate each other and then, and he's kind of an arsehole. And then, which I seem to have had a few of lately, where it's like, he's a right arsehole. He's an arsehole to the female lead. And yet they kind of, it all comes together.
She figures it out that it's okay. Or he realizes that he shouldn't be that way, and poof, there's the story. Yeah.
It's an interesting trope for me because being a bloke, I find it interesting where I just be like, oh, fuck off. But I mean, once I read the whole story, I get it. But the idea at the beginning, sometimes when I start to read them to begin with and think, wow, God, he's like, what a wanker. Like, I'm surprised he got a second chance. But then I guess it's normally written that the sexual attraction is so strong, and then he realizes what a knob he's being and changes his ways. So that's coming out. So that's one of those. I did another one. I've done a bunch with Vanessa Edwin. Do you know Crystal Caswell? I didn't know. Yeah, a lot of these are newer people to me as well. So me and Vanessa did a book called Dirty Desires, which I'm not sure when that's coming out because I think she's postponed the release a bit because of all the stuff that's going on right now. But we've recorded it, so it's all there. And then, have you heard of Rina Kent? R-I-N-A, Rina Kent. So I'm working on a series called Royal Elite, which is duet style as well, which is in the bully romance genre. Have you heard of this? I'd never heard of this until it was proposed to me. I think I think the producer called it a bully romance, or I might have got that wrong. Does that make sense?
No. Well, I wouldn't be surprised as to all these new tropes that might be coming out, but if the guy's a bully to the girl, maybe? Kind of,
yeah. Like, because I was a bit unsure at first because I don't like anything that sounds like it might be, non-consensual. Not into that, but like when the producer sort of read through it and she was like, no, it's fine. I guess it's along those lines of. The first book especially is along the lines of he kind of sneaks into her life, but he is a bully. He's a real arsehole. And they're young. They're youngest, more sort of college age. Because he has a sort of a vendetta underneath it, which you learn about later. There's like a lot of things going on. But then there's the sort of sexual attraction between the two. So the way it's developed is very clever. I really like it. But at first, I was like, what does that even mean? But again, it's like that kind of enemies to lovers. But it's I'd say it's a bit more dark than a lot of the other stuff. I do.
Well, they can't flat out call it the asshole trope, so the bully trope sounds better. Or, oh, look, the dick proc. And, it's not going to come across that way either.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like, because I'm also, I'm doing Laurelyn Page's next Slay book, which is along the same lines, but the characters are older, where it's sort of, I didn't do the first book because that was just from the female POV, but the Slay series was, he's sort of, I think in the, there's something very dark underneath it, that he was actually trying to be kind of evil and vindictive. And then they've ended up, falling in love. So, and she tends to write darker stuff anyway, doesn't she? I believe all the stuff I've worked on with her can be a bit darker. So again, I guess it's along those same lines as the Royal Elite stuff that I've been doing. But that Royal Elite series as a whole, we're doing those throughout the year. Like I think there's a bunch of like 5 or 6 of them, so they will be coming out. I know some listeners like to wait for everything, so that might not be. They might want to wait. But and then I also did one I really liked. I did Hate You. It was called by Tracy Lorraine. I don't know if you know Tracy Lorraine.
Nope.
She must be British because it was written with British spellings. But yeah, it was. I'm doing that with Kylie Stewart again. That was duet, all set in London. So it's all London lads. And again, another one of the. It's like arsehole season for me, where he's a bit of an arsehole to start with. For various reasons, again, for his own hang-ups and stuff, and she represents things to him, and then she ends up working for him in this tattoo shop that he owns. And anyway, and then it kind of develops from there. But I really enjoyed that. I did that a few weeks back, and I think I also enjoyed it because I got to be a Londoner, proper London. All of the characters were very London, so it's nice because I've had quite a lot of all sorts at the minute: Australian, Irish, Scottish, and then I just got asked to do to squeeze one in this month by. I think you say her name Magan Vernon because it's Magan. I don't know her particularly. Called Aired Lines, aired as in to be the heir to the throne, which I think she put on Twitter yesterday that she was thrilled I was doing it. But yeah, I don't know anything about it other than I think I'm a royal, judging from the title. But I'm doing it for a producer I get on really well with. So I am squeezing that one in, and we'll see. But I think that's along the royal kind of theme. And I know a lot of listeners like that theme particularly.
Yeah, it's coming up again. It kind of goes in waves about the genres that people like. And I think we're kind of itching for more royals.
Back to royal. Because Harry buggered off because he went to Canada.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, next.
Maybe.
Somebody else.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess, yeah, actually going down the list, I realize it's been quite a lot of different stuff going on. And nice. And then, of course, I've got stuff for Lauren coming up. I'm doing Dear Sexy Ex-Boyfriend, which she described to me, and I'll use her words because, again, like I said, I'm terrible at describing the tropes, almost as bad as describing my cooking. Friends to lovers, fake fiance romance. That's what she described it as. She said, and she's writing some comedy swan boat scene. So I don't know, wait for that one. I'm sure that'll be good. And I'm doing that with Andy Arndt. So that's our sort of, I guess, one of my dream teams, I say. I love working with lots of people, but that's a real particular bonus to be able to work with her. And then me and Vanessa Edwin are doing something in a few weeks. We're recording it. It will be, Lauren said, it will be recorded in an interesting way. So that's all. Yep, that's all I can say. It will be. So get people guessing. And of course, the Sinful Men series that she's redone is coming out. And I do not play a sexy hero. So just FYI.
No, yeah, you're the old dude.
I mean, old is. I mean, let's give it its dues. I mean, I think he ranges a be in 50s, isn't he? Is he 50s?
Yeah, he said, yeah.
When he's a bit early, and then I think maybe 60s in the later parts. So yeah, and she said I do not sound like me at all. So I sound very different because. Well, I'm Irish for one, Irish American, and older. But I really enjoyed that. That was something nice and different. But who are playing this? Who are the sexy heroes in that and heroines? I can't remember because there's so many people.
Well, we have in book 1 is Joe Arden and Andy Arndt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Book 2 is Penny Hamilton and Emma Wilder. Book 3 is Zachary Weber and Ava Harrison. And Erickson.
Erickson. I was going to say,
Ava Erickson.
The author turned narrator.
Yeah, I'm like, dang it.
There are a lot of Avas in this.
Yes, there have been. Yes. So it's Ava Erickson, and then book 4, which is originally the end, is Sebastian York and Vanessa Irwin. So it's exciting.
Vanessa Edwin.
Sorry, I always say Irwin for some reason. So yeah,
it's good. I feel like this week I'm actually on the ball with this stuff for once. There's been a slight reversal. I'm normally scrabbling to try and figure out what the fuck I've been up to. So anyway,
and I don't have my script in front of me with all these because I was working on that book series for it. I'm still doing the audio proofs for it. So I'm going, oh, thanks, Shane.
Vanessa Edwin. Yes.
Yeah. Vanessa Edwin and Sebastian York are being the leading hero. So we have a bunch of other narrators included too. So it was a fun project.
Yeah. It's a whole shebang, I'd describe it as. But it's good because my character is the same. I get to be that person through all the books. In and out. My Liam Neeson is what I described him as. Yeah, that was my model for the voice because when we were discussing it, she said he's Irish, but he's been there a long time. So, and so I remember did a couple of samples and did one, more full Irish, and then one where sort of, Liam Neeson he sounds Irish-ish. You know what I mean? He's kind of, he's got an interesting way of speaking. So I just sort of had that in mind, and so that was my reference for it. And then I've got a couple more with Lauren coming up in the summer, but I'm not allowed to say anything about those.
No, you're not.
Not at all. My lips are sealed.
Good.
So yeah, I mean that kind of that wraps up where I've been and where a few things coming up. I think that's until about the end of this month, and then we won't even go into May yet. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But hopefully a lot, because I looked up some of these and somehow I don't see them anywhere on Audible yet. So
no, unfortunately, they're taking longer than usual to publish. I mean, even the one with Kim Lorraine that you did, Broken Sword. It's I think it finally got to what are the different stages? I think it's already been approved, so it's on the retail stage. So we're just waiting for it to populate.
But yeah, so I don't know if these are on other platforms, some of these already, but yeah, but there should be a bunch of stuff coming.
Yeah. Well, I will be doing a lot of searching and making sure that either I'm directing the readers and listeners to the author's website to sign up for their newsletters to get the notification, or if I find them on a platform, I'll put it up there. Because I know that you have some of these books that are up on pre-order, but some of those are not. The authors have been doing a lot of newsletters specifically for audiobook releases. So you don't have to sign up for the main or overall newsletter now. Sometimes for the authors, there's only one specifically just for the audiobook info, which is great for those that just want the audiobook stuff. So
yeah. Well, and also I have done some other things here and there. I'm not the one I was talking about with Anna Durand, the One Hot Chance. I'm not sure how she's doing that, because I have done some small jobs for authors recently, and I think some of it's been more for their fan base rather than actually to put on Audible or anything like that. Or they might sort of spin it together with something later, but they kind of been doing some of that. So I don't know. I think the newsletter things are probably a good thing to be on board with.
Yeah. I'll reach out to some of the authors and say, so where are you going to put this?
Yeah, please do, because I cannot keep track for the life of me.
I got you.
But
you do the voice thing, I do the admin stuff. We're good.
That works for me.
I think that's it, because you do have 2 more books that Audible is saying, but they come out in May, which is He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not by Iris Moreland.
Oh yeah, that's what Irish. I was Irish.
And that's with Victoria May.
Yep. Who I met for the first time at the Audies.
Yeah, she's sweet. I love her.
Yeah, very nice. And then what else?
You have Fight For Me from Corrine Michaels, and that's with Andy Arndt, Sebastian York, and Shane East.
Oh yeah, featuring Shane East. I like that. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
So. I did, because it felt like in the movies where, someone's
special appearances by.
Exactly. They get, because they're not in the whole thing that much, so, but they, they get their own little and so-and-so. So that was I thought that was nice, especially to be with those couple of names as well. I was like, oh, nice.
Those are always fun.
But yeah, I think that's a character I played in another one. I did for Corinne. If Only I Knew, I think it was called. right?
Mm-hmm.
Funny on You. I think
so.
that's right. And then so she wanted me to add that.
Reprise it. Yeah.
Yeah, to add that into this different story. So that was fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm noticing a trend where the authors are, if the character from one book is going to be in another book and they're doing it in audio, that they've asked the narrator to come back specifically for that role if they haven't done it. So yeah, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more like, I don't know whether it's TV shows or something, once you get associated with the one, if your voice is quite recognizable and gets associated with something, then I have noticed that with some of the some authors tying it in and stuff. Which is, it's nice for us. I like, feature me on all sorts. It's great.
I think part of it too is the whole consistency from the listener's perspective. Like if I listen to an entire 12-hour book or a 6-7-hour book and I had you in my earbuds the entire time, and then I get the second book and it's somebody else, I'm going, that's not, well, that's not the same,
And like like we say, like certain people, people listen out for. I mean, people know my voice. They'll know Joe. They know Zach, Jason, or whatever, Sebastian, those kind of people. So I think that's the other thing, isn't it? Once your voice gets quite recognized, then it is nice to keep that consistency if authors can do it and throw it in. And nowadays we do it all the time. Like duets, I've never done so many duets in my life, or ones where I've, like with that one, Fight for Me, I was, Andy sent me the audio that they'd done already, her and Sebastian, and then I listened in and then did my stuff. So you can do all sorts of things. You don't have to all be on the line together and everything to make it work. So I think that's the other thing. Technology works well.
Yeah, it's been great. I know a lot of people are going more into the duets just to kind of, again, part of this consistency, getting the two, the narrators together. I like it. I think that's one of my favorite styles if I had to choose. You know, so it's
I like duets. I like duet if I have. I've done a few recently. If I don't have any POV, it's not my favorite. I have to be honest, because it's harder to get into the characters and to understand them when I'm only kind of. And it's only happened on a couple of books, which I didn't really realize until I said yes. And I didn't really know, to be honest, because duet, like I say, it's kind of been expanding, and my experience of it has been either someone's on the line with me while I'm at home, or like with Lauren, where she's got us all together in the room and stuff, which is like the best. But yeah, so I was just like, yeah, okay, I have time, I can do that duet, and then realized I didn't really have any POV, and I was just sort of doing the male voices. Which worked, but at the same time, I'd say that wasn't my favorite. That's not my favorite style. Because I realized then, I was like, I really enjoy getting into the character, under the narrative gives me so much insight into who they are and how their mind works and everything. So anyway, so that's just my 2 cents on that. But one of those was a series. And in the second book, you start to explore his POV and stuff. So it works in that respect, but just, talking about my artistic self here.
Yeah.
I guess. But I like duets, generally I do. And it's, I actually like doing both, I have to say. I like dual as well. Because I used to not like dual as much at one point, because I was always doing American female voices I was always concerned. I never wanted to sound, I think I've said that before on podcasts. Never wanted to make it sound it's just stupid or just not believable or whiny, or you know what I mean, like a guy doing a girl voice. And I found the American accent a little tricky as a female character, those two together. But now it seems to, I think I've just done it so much that it seems to just pop into place, or feels natural to me. So now I kind of really like doing the dual stuff as well.
It's practice, the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and the more it just falls off the tongue, so
you find a place, because I've coached some people, and I was like, it's just about, for girls and guys, I think just finding a place or a comfort level, and like with anything, it becomes more natural. And I think I used to worry too much about trying to sound like the female American. I was like, I can't really do that. Like I'm not going to sound like Andy. You're never going to mistake me. But as long as I'm sort of in the realm.
Close.
You know what I mean? The
Exactly.
accent's kind of okay. It's good. And, the voice is pitched, a certain way. Because I will pitch differently for someone like Emma Wilder than someone like Andy. Because they have a different, like Emma's got more of a smoky voice and Andy is a bit more, I don't know, it's a bit cleaner maybe sounding, which makes it sound like Emma's dirty.
Well,
she'll tweet about that. She's like, how dare you make me sound like I'm dirty? I don't mean that. Well, because I described her voice as husky once. And she was like, what? Yeah. She's like, what are you? And she jokingly said, you're trying to say I'm fat? And I was like, no, I'm husky to us Brits means like that sexy graveliness. Oh.
Yeah, but that's to me too. When I hear husky, I think the whole like the deeper, more raspier, lower range of a woman. And then maybe with Andy more not juvenile, but more
there's like a sweetness and there's like a
girl next door kind of thing.
So that's definitely, so it always helps. But saying that, I think I took that pressure off myself a long while ago. I was like, okay, I've got my female voice and I'll adjust it. American female, depending, and then, play the story. Like that's always the main thing.
Yeah. You can actually just do it in your normal voice and you probably wouldn't care. Because you're just talking.
I guess so, but because I came from a background though of doing a lot of voices, so I think that was why with romance, then I was like, I have to, sort of really make sure. And when I first started, it was much more. I wasn't in romance for one, but also it was just very much my single narrator. So I didn't have to think about someone else's voice or what they were doing. And it was I did some in the other genres. And then, when you got into romance, it's like, it's pretty much you're always going to be working with somebody. I don't think I've ever done a romance book where it's just me. Have I? Can't remember. Someone will tweet that and they'll tell me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe in historical romance. I think historical romance I've done some. Where it was just the male.
That was wild ago.
We're going back.
Historical.
But I think so. That's what I mean. I came from that background where I was very trying to make all the voices very different, and then I was coming from sort of a lot of sort of fantasy or YA and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's a bit of a different thing. But so I let some of that go for romance. I was like, no, don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll get to do stuff like when you do it for Lily Archer, like when you did the Faith series that you and I talked about before. You got all those different voices coming into play.
Yeah, which I do.
Yeah, those are fun. Well, it's time for that favorite thing I do with you as far as the this or that. If you're, for those that are new to listeners, this is where listeners and followers and Shane's fans can submit their questions as to whether it's a this or that. And we get to ask it and he gets to try to, answer it with just one word.
Go.
Yeah.
Not saying anything.
No, you're fine. No, it's just one of those where I like the answers, I guess, because I like having those longer conversations where the this or that isn't technically supposed to be, but let's see how we do if you're ready.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we go this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And of course, people are submitting questions, and there's some that I'm not going to ask because, none of my business.
Wow.
Yeah. No, hey, we say they can submit it. We also say that doesn't mean that we're going to ask it.
Yep.
Exactly. Or
I don't see these, so it's this is all up to Viviana, by the way. So
yes. So don't. Well, I figured this way, I have the filter, and I will say that if I ever have a question where I'm going, I wonder, I'll definitely go through it first. But at the same time, sometimes getting your reaction alone to the question is worth it. I mean, I'll edit it out if you don't ever want to answer it. Just the reaction. It's like, Yeah,
you can always try. I can't imagine anyone's.
Don't go there. No. Let's not go there. They will try.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll leave you to censor and you can.
Well, I'll give you an example. I'll include one today at the, I'll have it be the last one where it's one of those, and you'll decide if you want to answer it or not. So,
okay. Perfect. I shall.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Money or love?
I mean, love, obviously, but who wants to be poor and in love? I guess that makes me sound really bad, doesn't it?
I don't say anything about having to be poor either. So it's just, you can have money and you can
yeah,
say
I guess. I took that very binary in a very binary fashion, didn't I? I was like, you can have no money and have love, or have money and have love. So yeah, well, love in that respect, obviously.
Okay. Obviously.
I just don't want to have to live on the streets. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
at the same time, that
true.
would be not preferable.
No, I agree. That could be a strain on the relationship.
Exactly. Money. I'm not particularly materialistic, but there's a level, isn't there? Scientifically, there's a level of money that just makes life a lot easier, which makes love, relationships, and all that a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but love in all its forms, whether that's family, friendship, all sorts.
Cool.
Lovers, romance.
Mm-hmm. Bowling or putt-putt?
Please don't call it putt-putt.
That's how they submitted it. So I was going putt-putt. I'm going, what?
It's crazy golf, isn't it?
Yeah. So what is it that's supposed to be? What's the actual official name of it?
Well, we call it crazy golf, which is putt-putt is. I only know this because a friend called it that recently, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But yeah, we call it crazy golf, where you go around the little thing, and it's got you have to. It's like golf, but it's on a very small
mini golf.
It's a mini golf. Yeah, we call it crazy golf because it's normally on there's some stupid things you have to go under and over and stuff, and
mouth and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and there's it's family orientated. So what was the question? Because I got sidetracked. So shocker.
Okay, so bowling or mini golf?
Like 10-pin bowling.
Well, I think they mean like American bowling, like with the
American bowling.
Yeah, with the
10-pin. Yeah. Because bowling in England on the green is what I grew up with my granddad used to play it. Which is really like old people play that. So when you say bowling, I always think of that. But I know I live in America, so I should understand. Yeah, I would say 10-pin bowling over crazy golf.
Okay.
Yeah, because 10-pin is fine. We can. I like crazy golf with nephews because we did it. Whenever I go back, we'll go and do a bit of crazy golf. But me as in general, I do bowling.
Yeah, bowling's fun.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and then you get to drink. You get to go with your mates. It's like it's a bit of a fun sort of thing. I didn't do it very much in England. It was much more of a thing you saw on TV for Americans. Although we did have some. Just it wasn't such a big thing for us, I think.
Yeah, I grew up at the pool hall and so playing pool, billiards, and also at the playing bowling. Though the mini golf, I have yet to do it, but I've had friends that have had fun and make it more adultish. But that's for like later.
What mini golf?
For the mini golf.
What?
Yeah.
To strip mini golf? What are you talking about?
I think that was one version that they told me about. And then there was also the whole, like, if you miss it or not, you take a shot.
Take a shot. I was that was where my mind went first with the shots, but then you made it sound so cryptic. I was like, it sounds like a naked golf.
That's where my mind goes.
Yeah. Filth. Yep.
Yeah, but the same thing with the bowling. It's always fun too. We used to get kind of interesting names on the boards, so those were always fun too. So,
well, yeah. And the last time I played it was actually right before we got locked away for this pandemic, and I was pretty good. So that's also why I was like, I don't know why. Sometimes I can play and be horrendous, and then other times I just seem to be right zone. Yeah, So I actually did well. So that's another bonus. Okay, that's enough on that one.
Okay,
I've never stopped talking.
Red marinara sauce or Alfredo sauce?
Marinara, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I cook a lot with tomatoes. Going back to the cooking theme, I like that.
Yeah. Do you like the chunky sauces more or the more thinner sauces?
I don't mind. I tend to add sauces in like as an extra. Like I don't like I don't make it all gloppy, gloopy, whatever you want to say. But yeah, a little bit. But I like a marinara sauce, but like you could throw a bit of cream in there to make it creamy because I do like that, or cheese on top. rather than an Alfredo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. He's trying not to say more.
I am. I know. When I just go, yeah, that means I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Angel hair noodles or regular spaghetti noodles?
Is angel hair the really thin ones?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, regular ones. And gluten-free ones I really like because they don't make you feel as heavy. Yeah. Well, for me, even if I can eat bread and stuff, but yeah, I find it doesn't feel as heavy when you eat it. That's a tip of the Rachel Ray.
All right, so we're.
What's the last one? Yeah, what's this?
This is the one that you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm going to ask it just so you get an idea of what I have to deal with. As they text me, IM me, DM me when they learn that I'm going to chat with you.
Yeah. I'm going to say it. The suspense is dreadful.
No, you're okay. Ready? Okay. Lights on or off?
God's sake.
Told you.
No, I get that. Soft light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about what we think we're talking about, like no one's, I mean, you don't want an office light above your head, do you?
No,
you know what I mean?
Not. No.
Some stark LED lighting. It's just like, a nice lamp, something. Yeah, of course.
Candles,
off, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's that too. The female touch to the whole thing. You want to light like little candles all around the place?
I have battery operated candles. I use a remote. Click, click, click.
Okay. Okay. So you're always ready. That's good. No. Good for you. Let me just touch this remote and boom.
Yeah, boom. Yeah. Well, I have cats too, so that's always fun when you're trying to have a live, candle with the wick and the snow. That could be a hazard. So I've learned.
Yeah.
In the rooms where the cats are not in, the rooms that the cats are not in, I have actual, candles and stuff. I like the lighting that it gives. So.
I like soft lighting. My mum said that once when she came to visit. She was like, "Well, you know what he's like." To my dad, she was like, "He likes to sit in the dark." I was like, what are you talking about? And then, because compared to them, like they have like a lot stronger. I like a lot of little lamps. Yeah, like in the evening. And I have a fireplace, so I like put that on, especially at the minute because the weather went tits up again, and it's all like winter here. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, that a little fireplace and lots of lamps. I can't bear like strong overhead lighting. Yeah. Just to relax in or to sit down in or whatever. So that's lights on, but make it soft lighting. Yeah. Which goes without saying, really, doesn't it?
I think it depends on some people.
Well, I mean, maybe if you like outdoors, then you might like a very bright light.
Yeah. Also depends on what's going on. And I know that sometimes you have to have some lighting in order to know how to do some things. Because I'm not
going to go down that rabbit hole. But
no.
Yeah.
But I think
where are you? I'm under the bed. Where do you think I am? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
I'm hanging from the ceiling like you asked me to. Oh shit! All right, let me climb up the wall. Too dark.
God. Yeah, exactly. No.
I hope someone writes a comedy scene like that in a book for me.
That would be fun. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't mind those questions. That was a lot tamer than I thought. I thought it was going to be something quite outrageous, but not at all.
I thought you were going to bust out with, well, when I'm reading, I like to have the lights on. Like you were going to try to like get away from the obvious aspect for it.
I mean, I think we've passed that stage.
Yeah, you and I.
It's a romance podcast.
Yeah.
Me trying to be coy is a bit.
Yeah.
It would be a bit of a hard sell at this point.
Yeah. Or just, for shits and giggles. I was like, I wonder if I want to go like, no, it's not the one where you like when you're in the booth. It's like, the room or wherever.
No. I'm literal. I know what you meant, whoever sent that in. I've got your number.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have a fun time with this one. But yeah, so that's good. Okay, so we'll play that in the sense of, people submit. We try to, I'm very much respectful as far as, privacy and, but like I said, we'll do it like if we're game, I'll ask. And then if you want to answer or not, we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we go?
No, I think I've taken up far too much of anyone's time. If they're still listening to me, they must be done. Yeah, and I have to actually go and record a bunch of stuff now, so I have to hop off anyway. But it's a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
But yeah, I just hope everyone's keeping well, and I hope they enjoy what we have to try and keep them entertained at the minute.
Perfect.
That's it really from me.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Audiobook Lovin Podcast. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms, subscribe to the Viviana Enchantress of Books newsletter, and don't forget to submit your this or that questions. Happy listening. Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana Enchantress of Books. For links and more info about today's episode or the Audiobook Lovin Series, visit vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. Please consider leaving a review wherever you listen to the podcast if you've enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, happy listening.